Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss quadratic equations. My name is Preetham and I'm going to teach mathematics subject for you guys. So in this topic we are going to discuss quadratic equations. So first of all we will discuss how to solve the quadratic equations, what are the methods to solve the quadratic equations and types and what are the graphical representation of a quadratic equation on x and y axis or in a graph or in a plane. So first of all, we have to know what is the quadratic equations. First of all, what does an equation means? What does an equation means? So anything that relates LHS and RHS is called an equation. Yes, like suppose x is equals to 5. Is x is equals to 5 an equation? Yes, it is an equation. And y is equals to x. Is this an equation? So it is also called as an equation. So equation is nothing but it's a value. It shows a value of some variable or some quantity. In the similar way, this can be called as equation. But can you able to see any squares or cubes here? But only the power of these equations are just 1 and 1. So these are called just equations of degree 1 but not the quadratic equations. We will have quadratic equations means we will have the degree to the power 2. So with the variables with the degree to the power 2 are called as quadratic equations. So in detail in step by step procedure we will discuss what are the quadratic equations. So see, in mathematics, quadratic equation is a polynomial equation of second degree. As I have discussed, we also see this is also an equation. Y equal to x is also an equation, but we don't call y equal to x as an quadratic equation. Why? Because what is the power of y here in this side? Power of y is 1, and what is the power of x here? The power of x is also 1. So x is equals to y is an linear equation we call, that is linear equation. Linear equation will have a degree equal to 1. See, what is meaning of degree? Degree is nothing but how much power, I mean degree, we all know how much power the variable has been raised in either side of the equation is called as degree, or we call highest or the maximum power of an on each side is also called as a degree. So so what is the maximum power on both the sides? So 1 is the maximum power that can be observed on the both the sides. So hence this is called as a linear equation. Suppose what if the degree is 2? What if the degree is 2? If the degree is 2, then it is known as quadratic equation. So can anyone tell me the example? Yes. Suppose y square is equals to 2. Yes, this is can be called as an quadratic equation, or y square is equals to some x. So this can also be called as an quadratic equation. Why this is called as quadratic equation? Because the maximum power in these both equations are 2. I mean the maximum power in LHS side is 2, and the maximum see any of the either LHS or RHS, what is the maximum power? So it is 2, right? So the degree of this equation is called as degree. D is equals to 2. Hence because D equal to 2, we call this as quadratic equations. So here also it denotes the same. So in mathematics, a quadratic equation is a polynomial equation of second degree. Means second degree is important. Why second degree? Second degree is nothing but degree is equals to 2. So the general form of an equation is been given. So what is the general form of an equation? Ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0 is called as general form of the equation. That is, see, like any quadratic equation can be represented, like any quadratic equation that we get can be represented in terms of ax square plus bx plus c. For example, we know x square is equals to 2. Can you represent this x square equal to 2 in terms of quadratic equation? Yes, we can represent. How? X square here minus 2 is equals to 2 minus 2, that is subtracting minus 2 from both sides, that is subtracting 2 on both sides. So here subtracting 2 on both sides we get x square minus 2 is equals to 2 minus 2. So x square minus 2 is equals to 0. So what is the condition that we have to bring in order to form it in a general form? So general form, this is called general form of a quadratic equation. Ax square plus bx, ax square plus bx plus c is the general form of an equation. So now you tell me, this is the general form of an equation. So but what so can you compare these both equations? Are these both equations same? Yes, these both equations are same, but the x part is missing, right? The x part which having the power of 2, power of 1, the x part which is having the power of 1 is missing from this equation. So what does that mean? Can we take b equal to 0? If we take b equal to 0 in this equation, what we will get? A x square plus 0 into x plus c is equals to 0. So a x square plus 0 into x is 0. So ax square plus c equal to 0. Can you observe these both equations are same? So ax square plus c equal to 0 and x square minus 2 equal to 0. So are these both equations same? Yes. From this, if by comparing these two equations, I mean here in this equation also the power of x is 2 and here also the power of x is 2. Here also we don't have any x term. Here also we don't have any x term with the power 1. Here we have constant term and here also we have constant term. So first of all let us discuss what does this a, b and c and what is this constant mean. So we see this is the general form of an equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is the general form of an equation. Any given equation can be converted into ax square plus bx plus c form. Then we can easily solve the problem using the three different methods that we are going to discuss. So uh, that we are going to discuss. So now ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So now what does a represent? What is x? What does x mean? X mean a variable, right? Any variable that can be represented as x. So x or y, any variable. Like this is in this equation, it is ax square plus bx plus c. We can also write ay square plus by plus c equal to 0 also we can write, because the x is just a representation of any variable that are unknown that we want to take. So what a b c are constants here, that is are nothing but coefficient of x square is a, coefficient of x is b, and coefficient of x power 0 can we write here. What is x power 0? So once again, see, what is x power 0? X power 0 is 1. Anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So, and whatever x power 1 is equals to x, x power 2 is equals to x square. So only the equation, so the quadratic equation contains this one, can contain constant only, can't contain only x, no, can contain x and can contain x square terms. So we know that general form of an quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So we can also write ax square plus bx plus c into x power 0 is equals to 0. So this can also be written in this form. This form can be useful in the later part of our discussion. So here constant means it is a coefficient of x power 0. Here what does a represents? A is a constant, but it also represents the coefficient of x square. B is also a constant, but it represents the coefficient of x power 1. C is also a constant that represents the coefficient of x power 0. So that is a thing you have to understand. And ABC are constants. So ABC are constants and such that a not equal to 0. See, this is one of the main condition, a not equal to 0. Now you tell me, in ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, if a equal to 0, what will happen? The equation will change into, see, you substitute a equal to 0, 0 into x square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So the 0 into x square becomes 0. So 0 plus bx plus c equal to 0. So bx plus c equal to 0. So which type of equation is this bx plus c equal to 0? What is the degree of this equation? Degree of this equation is 1, because maximum power of the variable is only 1. So the degree becomes 1. See, degree is nothing but maximum power of any equation, of the variable of any equation is called the degree. So the degree, I mean the coefficient of the x only. And what is the c? C represents x power 0. So 0 and 1. What is the maximum power of the x? So maximum power of x is equals to 1. So the degree of this equation is 1. So the degree of the equation bx plus c equal to 0 is 1. So this equation is it a quadratic equation or a linear equation? As the degree is 1, it is called as linear equation. So a equal to 0 represents linear equation. So to get a quadratic equation, what must be the condition? To get a quadratic equation, what must be our condition? A not equal to 0. You take b can be 0 or c can be 0 or anything can be 0. But the important condition is the coefficient of x square coefficient should not be equal to 0. If x square coefficient is 0, that equation will become a linear equation but not the quadratic equation. So the important condition of the in the general form, the important condition of the quadratic equation is the coefficient of x square should not be equal to 0 or a should not be equal to 0. So if a equal to 0, the equation becomes linear equation. So the constants a, b, c are called respectively the quadratic coefficients. They are called, as we already discussed, a, b, c are called coefficients of x square, x and x power 0 respectively. The linear coefficient and the constant term are a free term. I mean, a is called a quadratic coefficient, b is called linear coefficient, and constant term or c is called constant term or freedom. So we'll see once again. So what does it is called ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is a general form of quadratic equation. This is a general form of quadratic equation. In this, a is called quadratic coefficient, quadratic coefficient, and b is called linear coefficient. Similarly, c is called, you tell me? Yeah, free term or constant. So these all are coefficients or constants or coefficients. So this is a general form. So this is the general form of the quadratic equation. So that is all about the what we call quadratic equations. Next, we will see what are the roots of the quadratic equation. See, we have a general formula ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This, when we are equating this what is this called ax square plus bx plus c? It is an expression. When an expression is equated with to 0, this whole thing will become an equation. So what is an expression? Expression here is expression with variable. Expression is equals to ax square plus bx plus c. If only if we equate this expression with 0, it becomes an equation. Equation is not, equation means what? You have to equate something with something. Means you have to equate how much this value will become equal to that value. So then it becomes an equation. So if this equation is not equal to 0, suppose, or if we take this equation, if we take this expression as y, so y is equals to ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. I mean, if we take y equal to 0, see, you tell me, have you ever know that what does y equal to x, what does this equation, this is a linear equation, right? Yes, this is a linear equation. Do you know what is the graph of this y equal to x? See, this is the x-axis, suppose. This is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. Here 1, here 2, here 3, here 4 and so on. Here 1, here 2, here 3 and so on. So x equal to y. So y equal to x graph we have to draw. Graph. So if x equal to 1, y should also be equal to 1. So this is the point. If x equal to 2, y should also be equal to 2. So this is the point. This is the point. If x equal to 3, y should also be equal to 3. So it becomes a straight line or not, like this, a line touching all the things. So it also passes through origin and it goes through this like this. So this is an origin. So this is the graph of an y equal to x. So what does y equal to 0 means? Y equal to 0 means, do you know what does y equal to 0 represents? X-axis. On x-axis, all these points of the x-axis, y equal to 0. Yes, y equal to 0. In a similar fashion, this is how this is a graphical representation of linear equation. This is the graphical representation of linear equation. But how about the quadratic equation? Suppose we have to know what does the y equal to x square. You tell me, y equal to x square, does it represent a quadratic equation? Yes, this represents a quadratic equation because it is of degree 2, right? The maximum power of x is variable is 2. So degree equal to 2, it is a quadratic equation. It is a quadratic equation, yes. So now what we will do, we will draw a graph of this. What we'll get? We'll draw a graph. This is x-axis again. This is y-axis. Same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we will go negative also. -1, -2, -3. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is y-axis. Now to draw a graph, first of all, what we have to take? Y box and x box, x square. So y equal to x square. So now you tell me, if x equal to 1, sorry, x box and x square box, y equal to, what does y equal to represent? Y equal to x square. Now you tell me some points we will take. Suppose we will take -1, 0, 1, 2. We will take these points. I mean, as x. Sorry. Suppose this is, let it be this only x, and this is x square. So suppose x equal to -1. What will be x square? It is plus 1. 1 minus 1 whole square. If x equal to 0, what it will be like x square value? X square is 0. If x equal to 1, what will be the x square? It is 1 only. If x equal to 2, what will be the x square? It is plus 4. So y equal to x square means y equal to plus 1, 0, 1, plus 4. So now just we'll point. So for y equal to 0, what is the value? 0. So this is the point. For y equal to 1, what will be the point? X equal to 1. This is the point. For x equal to -1, y equal to also 1. For x equal to minus also, y equal to 1. For x equal to 2, y is 4. For x equal to 2, y is 4. So here, so for -2 also it will be plus 4 only. So what does it represents? If you join all the points, it touches to origin. It touches through origin. Okay. So does it represent this curve? So y equal to x square. So y equal to x is the previous equation, right? That is a linear equation. But what about the y equal to x square graph? Y equal to x square graph represents this curve that is touching x axis at 0 comma 0 is the point of the origin. So suppose if y equal to x square, if we equate it 0, means if we are taking y equal to 0, does x square equal to be 0? Does it becomes a quadratic equation? So what I am telling, this is an expression. This is not a quadratic equation. This can be called as an expressions or an equation also. But what I'm telling, when this is equated with 0, that represents, if y is equals to 0 means x-axis, and x square equal to 0 means this curve, right? This is a curve of x square, y equal to x square. So what will be the solution of this quadratic equation? It is a solution means where the curve is touching the x-axis, it is touching at 0 comma 0. So this point, so this point will become is answer of this equation, quadratic equation. So we will solve the see what is the intersection point of the curve with x-axis. It gives us the solution. So what is the solution? Y equal to 0 is a solution, x equal to 0 is a solution, because at this y equal to 0 and x equal to 0 point, this curve is touching the x-axis. So let us see suppose we will solve this quadratic equation x equal to 0. So x equal to 0, what are the possibilities? It is the only possibility that x equal to plus or minus 0, or plus or minus 0 we can't write. So x is equal to 0 is the answer. So both from the curve and the solving the quadratic equations, we got the same answer. So indirectly, what does the quadratic equation represents? Quadratic equation represents the solution. We equate ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. That means where the curve is touching x-axis. X-axis. This is y equal to x square. So so how many points the x is touching? 2 points, right? Here also it is touching, here also it is touching. Hence, this equation will have two solutions. That is the thing. One minute. I will. Okay. See, previously I have seen the curve, right? So this is the curve. This is y is equals to ax square plus bx plus c. This is the x-axis. X-axis. So what does y equal to x square plus bx plus c represents? This is y equal to 0 axis, and this is ax square plus b. So the curve is touching the x-axis at 2 points. That is at y1, at y2. So if ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, if we equate, this has two solutions. Why two solutions? Because this curve is touching the x-axis at 2 points. Did you get understood? So it has two solutions. In a similar fashion, I will see. Okay, so let us understand. See, this is called a polynomial. We call this as what we call polynomial. Polynomial of degree 2. So y equal to ax square plus bx plus c is a polynomial of degree 2, because maximum power of x in this polynomial is a 2, degree 2. So we will equate ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is called a quadratic equation for a not equal to 0. Like for example, what has been taken? 5x square minus 3x plus 3 is equals to 0. See, this is 2 is there. Hence, this equation can be called as quadratic equation, because the maximum power of x in this polynomial is 2, right? Hence, it is called as quadratic equation. So, the name quadratic comes from quad, meaning square, because the variable gets squared like x square, because x is a variable, it gets squaring. That is the maximum power that is obtained in that equation is 2. Hence, it is called quadratic equation. It is also called as an equation of degree 2. This all have been we discussed, right? Because 2 is on x. So, did you understand what does the solution of a quadratic equation? Did you understand what does the solution of a quadratic equation gives? It gives a solution of, suppose y is equals to ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Okay, this is a suppose there is a polynomial. First you have to take y equal to 0. Next you have to take ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So where this curve is intersecting with y equal to 0, we will get the solution for this. How many solutions we will get? I mean, y equal to ax square plus bx plus c equal to y equal to ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is a equation or polynomial where this curve is touching the x-axis. 2 points we are getting, 2 points the curve is touching the x-axis. Hence, the solution of this quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 has two solutions, because 2 points in the graph, two solutions or 2 points in the graph. See, this can be clearly understandable while we are solving the problems. If you are solving the problems, it will be clearly understandable. Like what does actually the representation of the quadratic equation means? Like yeah, like that. So as of now, did you understand what does this is till now what we have discussed? Ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 we have discussed. This is a general form, and a, b, c are the coefficients of this x square and x power 0 that we have discussed. And how to find the solution? We have to equate that with 0 and then find the solution. See, we can't draw the graph for every problem, right? Like this, the graphs, drawing the graph for every problem and drawing an axis and finding these intersection points is very difficult one. So there are other methods other than the graphical method. So this is also one method to find the solution to the quadratic equation, but this method is obsolete, or the oldest method. Now we will use just formula based methods to find the solution of a quadratic equation. Okay, so see, as this is a representation of a general form of quadratic equation, like ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So one side must only contain 0, like quadratic expression. This is called quadratic expression. So this is called quadratic expression, and this quadratic expression must be equated with 0, means one side should contain 0, then it is called as a quadratic equation. So now how to find the roots of the quadratic equation? We have a formula. See, we have three methods how to find solution, how to find a solution to quadratic equations. We have three methods. One is formula based method, direct formula for the solution, formula based. Other is square root method, I mean square method. Other is factor method. So we will see how to find, we have to find the solution of this equation without using the graph. See, with graph anyone can tell that solution, but that is not the thing we want. We want an upgraded mathematics. So that is an old mathematics. By drawing graph also we can find the solution of this quadratic equation. So other methods of finding a solution of this quadratic equation is formula based method, square method, and factor method. Okay, so these are the three methods we will discuss in the further.